viewers, welcome back. It's James Calm, your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike, and we're out of 56 Bogart Street, and we're gonna pop in here to the Robert Henry Gallery. I'm gonna talk to this young lady about her exhibition, Elise Engler, A Year on Broadway, and we're gonna do a little performance piece as we chat about this now. Okay, so, well, kind of sweep around the gallery. A Year on Broadway actually is based on I would call it kind of a performance, conceptual performance piece, wouldn't you? Where you started out at the top of Broadway and continued on down doing drawings at the various points. Tell me a little bit about the project.
I actually started on the top of Broadway and the bottom of Broadway. And I worked
at the same time?
Yes.
And this was in 2014?
Started on May 19th, 2014.
Okay, so how many individual pieces do you actually have in here?
There are 252 blocks.
252. Now, how much time would you spend on each one of these? I'm sure it kind of varied, but...
It did vary. It depended on if it was some of the images or single images. Sometimes they take up one, two, or three folds.
And tell us about the medium that you're using.
I started on the street with gouache and watercolor, and then I finished in my studio with colored pencil.
So here are your tools, your cart. How many colored pencils do you usually have with you when you go out there?
Oh, I don't bring the pencils with me.
You don't bring the pencils with you?
But, I bring the gouache and the brushes and a little container of water.
Why don't you take the pencils with you? It's just too much trouble, or?
Setting up hundreds of pencils on the street, I would need a much bigger table.
So do you actually use other things for reference? I mean, are you taking photographs when you go out there as well? I
took photographs, absolutely. And occasionally had to resort to images online.
Really? So you said 200 and how many? 50?
52.
So how many days were you actually out there on the street?
I actually
West
don't know.
181st Street.
Probably about 80, I guess.
And so for example, you go and you sit down and let's say this piece right here, 176th Street.
Uh-huh.
You go up there, you've got your little stool, you've got your set of pencils and your little drawing board. How long would you be sitting there on the corner doing your drawing?
Anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes per block.
Okay, so...
And then finishing back in the studio.
And each one of these pieces is what, about 6 by 4? Is that what, I mean... 4
1/4 by 6.
4 1/4 by 6, okay.
Right now, this is this is Audubon Terrace. That used to be the Museum of the American Indian, but now it's the Academy of Arts and Letters, the Barrico College, and the
I got a letter from them.
Numismatic Society.
It's also interesting because as I'm going along here, I can sort of see that there's a passage of time. You've got the trees, and the trees the leaves turn orange. Now we've got the Christmas trees, which I'm seeing around the neighborhood as I cruise around today.
This is the last Botanica that I saw on Broadway. This is an old theater that's now McDonald's.
Right, we've got some snow on the ground now.
This is a public art piece.
Now, you said you started at the bottom and the top at the same time. Did you have any kind of an idea that you did kind of want to portray the passage of time, the seasons and all that? And if you did, how would you sort of play the bottom end of Broadway against the top end?
Well, I would alternate. And when I started and did 20 blocks in the first month by alternating, I realized that mathematically it would work, that it would take a year. I didn't know it was going to take a year until I did the first month. And when having done 20 blocks and you multiply that by 12, you get 240, and that was close enough to the 250 that I thought it was. And then I realized that it would be a one-year project.
Now, did you actually have kind of a conception of, let's run over here again, 106th Street. Did you have a conception of this as performative when you started this?
Yes. I probably
Okay.
did. Because I've done other pieces before which have a performative element. And there are the 252 photographs of myself working.
Okay, we'll drag over and see that at the end. So you're out here over about a period of a year,
In the snow.
right? And did you ever have any problem with passerbys or people that might have, I don't know, thought you were doing something weird and might have given you a hard time?
I had a,
Is that
every
the-
once in a while, a sort of slightly loony person would come up and say something, but for the most part, people ignored me. I think in New York, they saw this gray hair and they said, "Oh, isn't that nice? She's making nice plein air drawings of New York City."
Some, okay, I wasn't going to say it. They didn't think you were a bag lady or something out
probably.
there.
Yeah, probably. Well, you know what? The thing is,
That'll make them leave you alone.
I had to ask somebody to take a picture of me, and sometimes when I would ask people to take a picture, they would go like this. They would shake their finger at me, and I think they thought I was asking for change.
Okay, now here we're getting down towards Times Square.
Yes.
Also, yeah, I noticed most of these are during the day, but here you've got a whole section at night. You planned that out because you wanted to get the lights and everything in there? Was
Yeah,
that
Times
that
Square
part?
at night, I mean, it's
So you actually must have spent, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so
well, sometimes
several days down there.
Yes. In the cold,
Okay.
in the dark.
In the cold and the, well, that's the best way
Right
to
around New Year's.
best way to experience Times Square.
Absolutely.
Now we're getting down towards Macy's and 34th Street. Oh, there's the top of the Empire State Building, right?
That's right.
Okay. Are you a native New Yorker?
I am.
Okay, so you probably had a good idea of the particular landmarks that you wanted to capture.
I did, but I discovered some new places, particularly above 145th Street.
Well, a lot of people never get that far north.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, there's a farm from the 18th century that's still there, and
it's interesting because if you get up to the top of Manhattan, it's almost like a different kind of a place. It's all rocky and hilly. I know you get into the Bronx and it's actually a lot of hills and dales and rocks and outcroppings and stuff. Now here we're down to Broome Street. We're in Soho. Okay. Canal Street. All right, yeah, that looks familiar. Okay, we'll start off here and finish off the last strip of downtown. Okay.
Tribeca.
Yep, these all used to be big artsy neighborhoods, and now they've just sort of been taken over by the boutiques and cell phone stores. Okay,
This
City
building
Hall.
has been standing empty for years because it's got some structural structural issues.
Yeah, okay. We've got parts. What do you think your favorite part of the Broadway piece was? Anything that sticks out in your mind?
There's different ones. I mean, I love drawing that
Freedom
front of the
Tower.
Woolworth building right there. Right here is the Woolworth building, but also that area of around 125th Street where it's been completely leveled, and Columbia will be putting new laboratories there.
Yes, I noticed there were some buildings that are up on the Columbia University campus there. So now we're down near Wall Street.
There you see
That's
history.
Part of the Freedom Tower.
Freedom Tower, Trinity Church.
And I see that some of these you've got the same little piece of architecture kind of pops up in different aspects on some of these.
That's the Broadway Bull, which you can never see without a crowd in front of it.
Yeah, I saw the Occupy Wall Street protesters being dragged off there and handcuffed. Okay, and then we get all the way down to the bottom, and there's you. Okay, Elise, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go over and just sweep over some of the photographs. So we not only have, 150, 200 and something drawings, and how many of these, did you take a photograph every time you went out and had a session?
Either I took a photograph or I thought a hurt to ask somebody to take a photograph of me.
So this is your normal set. You've got a folding chair and your little
A little cart.
your little grocery cart.
That's it. Folding chair, grocery cart, and a little tiny little stool.
You didn't put a cup out there. You could have been collecting a lot of money. I see a lot of people are just sitting out on the street. You know, you have something like "We'll draw for money" or something like that. We'll draw for food. Okay, Elise. That was a
Year on
little.
Broadway.
That was a little shorter than a year on Broadway. That was about 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Anyway, here at the Robert Henry Gallery. And well, good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for giving us the tour.
Thank you for
And-
shooting it.
As always, we say thank you, Kate.